Want to grow on TikTok? Join our agency for support with expert mentoring, stream protection, and audience growth. It's time to level up. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to join today.
So we are delighted to be joined as we move into segment 2 by top trainer and manager, if he's actually on the camera, Billy Nelson. Billy, can you hear me? Here he is. I can hear you, Billy. I can't see you yet. You don't want to turn the camera around?
No, I don't know how to do it. I'm in my new house getting furniture delivered now. You can have a look at my new furniture if you want.
Yeah,
it's more
why
interesting
not?
than me.
Right, we're joined by the voice of Billy Nelson and his sumptuous new abode. So that's better than nothing. Billy, the reason we've got you on today, it's not just because I haven't got a co-host and I was getting desperate, I promise. It's because we want to talk a little bit about Martin Bakole, your heavyweight, who is waiting for his IBF final eliminator to take on the winner of the the rematch in December between Fury and Usyk. We saw last week Ajit Kabayel has pulled out of purse bids for the chance to do it, and now you're going to go down those IBF rankings. And you've been telling us for years that everyone's avoiding Martin Bakole, or if they were offered the fight, wouldn't take it. Does it feel good or bad to be proved right?
Terrible. We want to fight. We're in the boxing game for everybody to earn a living and, make a living for your family and have a better life. The thing is, Zhang's pulled out as well now, as far as I'm led to believe. So it's down to the next challenger, which is Frank Sanchez.
So we've got a bit of an exclusive there on SO Live. It now appears that Zhilei Zhang, who was next in line, next rung down of the IBF rankings, is not taking the fight. What do you think it is, Billy? There's a lot of options out there, I guess, for the fighters. A lot of them are ranked in the top 5 of the different governing bodies. Why do you think, though, with this carrot of the IBF #1 spot on the line, why are they still not fighting Martin? Billy, what I was saying just before you got off was, even though Martin's now got that carrot of being, offering that IBF #1 spot to whoever fights him, if they're able to beat him, of course, why are they still not stepping up to take him on, in your view?
I don't honestly know. I don't know if there's a wee hidden agenda, no regarding Martin or me, but maybe it's a promotional thing. I don't know if people are unhappy with a promoter, or I don't know. I really don't know. You're guessing, aren't you? You're guessing, really, but it's not very nice. It's no fair on Martin, because all Martin wants to do is stay in the gym and fight. He's a boxer after all. That's what he wants to do. That's what he's best at. He entertains the crowd, and he just wants to win a world title like any other boxer.
Yeah, I was saying when you were off camera briefly that the fact that he sparred a lot of the top heavyweights and obviously given a good account of himself, words maybe got round. Do you think that could be part of it, that they know how good he is because of that?
Oh, that's a gimme, isn't it? That's 100%. That's that. And he's even said that himself. But it'll not be the first time top fighter. Every top fighter has went and sparred and with other potential contenders. It's just that on Martin's way up, he had to do it. He had to spar to get the best guys. But what's the point of putting him in against somebody and sparring, getting ready for a fight where he's just going to batter the shit out of somebody? He's not learning a thing for that. It's not only the body that you've got to train for the fight; it's the mind as well.
Yeah, well, I completely agree with you. But now you're in this situation. How long do you get to go down the rankings? I mean, is there a chance it gets all the way to number 15 and no one takes it? And in which case, what happens then?
Well, I'm led to believe. Well, I think Sanchez is taking the fight.
Oh, yet another exclusive here on SO Live. So, if that is the case, obviously,
if indeed it is the case, but I'm led to believe he is.
What sort of style match would you expect if that happens? We know Sanchez can be quite negative at times, but slick, talented.
Oh, he's not. I think he's a very good fighter. I know for a fact he was injured against Caballero, and he's a bit restrictive with his feet. But hopefully he's 100% to fight Martin. And I do believe Martin will do a number on him and then fight whoever's the IBF world champion. And that'll as far as we're led to believe, the IBF will tell whoever the champion is on the 22nd of April or before that you must fight the winner of the.
I'd say there's a good chance you don't have to combine. There must be a good chance that it will be out in Riyadh, as Martin seems to have become a bit of a favourite over there now, and Sanchez has fought on Riyadh season show as well.
I would think it would be unlikely it would go to Saudi.
Okay, interesting. Is there any chance it happens in the UK?
I would put that down as a favourite destination for the fight. Aye.
Oh, brilliant. How much will it mean to you to see Martin finally get his chance to become #1 contender for the world title, having backed him for as long as you have, often been criticised for doing so as well?
Why would people? Why should people criticise when what I've said has came to fruition? We're one step away, we're one fight away from fighting for the world title, win the world title, and everything I've said potentially will come to fruition. So, who's he who laughs last, Danny?
Indeed. I'm just going to check if there's any questions for you on the chat in a minute. But what I wanted to ask you, you said they'll have until April the winner of the December 21st rematch between Fury and Usyk.
No. The winner between Daniel and whoever he's fighting.
Oh, sorry. Between Daniel Dubois, who is called
because Martin's already the WBA #1.
Of course. So, right. So if Martin beats Sanchez, he's then IBF #1 mandatory position to fight the winner of Dubois and whoever he makes his voluntary defense against.
Yes.
So first of all, who do you expect, or from what you're hearing on the grapevine, will take that Dubois fight?
Parker.
I
think he basically said it in an interview the other day as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a fight we'd all like to see as fans. Would it surprise you that Dubois' team have taken that? Is that a calculated risk?
No, Daniel's had some good results lately. You know, he beat Hrgovic, who's a good fighter. I didn't expect him to beat Hrgovic, and I didn't expect him to beat AJ as well. So fair play to Daniel for doing what he's doing. So if he can beat Hrgovic and he can beat AJ, he can certainly give Joe Parker a hard fight, can't he? As Joe Parker can do to him.
Who do you expect to come through that fight?
I don't care. We'll beat both of them.
Has he sparred both of them or just Dubois?
Sparred both of them.
And did well, I'm assuming?
Exceptionally well.
All right, brilliant stuff. All right, let me have a look and see what we've got here. There seems to be a debate in the chat before I ask specific questions. There seems to be a debate in the chat about Bakole's position in the top 5 heavyweights in the world. If you assume that I think I asked you this before. I can't remember where you had Martin. What's your current kind of top 3 or top 5?
Current 3, based on what they've done?
Yeah.
Usyk, Fury, Daniel, Martin.
So Martin 4th. I think that's someone. Porter in our chat's got Dubois, Fury, Zhang, Bakole. Bakole around 8, according to the Keggy. That's a bit low. I don't think Billy will be happy about that. Bakole definitely top 5, says Jack. Jack Dutton. Stephen says Cabai. Sorry.
Although I've got Martin at number 4, given the opportunity against any of the 3 guys above him, I believe he beats them all.
And then becomes #1. Stephen says Caballero is waiting for the WBC belt, but Zhang pulling out isn't great. Yeah, any idea why Zhang's pulled out? Has he got something else?
He has.
Offered? Okay. We'll leave that there. The Keggy says no, he's not top 5. Who on his resume makes him top 5? What would you say to that, Billy?
That's a fair enough comment, but there's many boxers that have got a much. I mean, who's Conor Benn fought to be number 2 or 3 in the rankings in the world?
Yeah, I mean they're the box rec rankings. They're a bit of a stinker all round, to be fair. But yeah, I'll take your point. Paulter says Bakole beats Parker. Jack Dutton says I'm not going by resume, I'm going by current form, which I think is fair enough. The Keggy also, I don't think the Keggy's a big fan of Martin. Looking at these comments as a whole, he says Sanchez is a style nightmare for Bakole if he's healthy.
Well, we'll see about that.
Yeah, indeed. So MB says, if Bakole against Caballero had gone all the way to purse bids, who would have put up the money for it?
It was going to purse bids, and Caballero's team pulled out 45 minutes or an hour before it. Boxer were bidding for that fight.
Yeah, because they were out there, weren't they?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember. The Keggy says Boxer are not interested in Bakole. Well, he's clearly wrong about that. Does Billy Nelson believe that Ben Shalom has done a good job with Bakole? That's a hard one for you to answer, isn't it, Billy? Put on the spot there. Feel free to answer it however you want.
I couldn't quite hear it, sorry.
No worries. Stephen says, do you believe that Ben Shalom has done a good job with Bakole so far?
I think under the circumstances, it could have done better. I think when we first signed for Boxer, 100% we could have been more active. And if it wasn't for myself and Spencer Brown, he wouldn't have got to fight in Saudi nor Los Angeles. Basically, we signed on the 8th of February with Boxer, and in 2023, and we've had 3 fights. And by the time we have our next fight, it'll be 4 fights in 2 years, which isn't good enough, really.
I mean, what about, Billy, just to ask you before I let you go, do you give yourself much credit for the job you've done with Martin, not just as a trainer, because he's clearly improved, but from the managerial side, because you've took someone, English isn't his first language, this isn't the country where he was brought up in boxing, and he's one of the top heavyweights in the world now. You've moved him despite not having massive promotional backing. You know, by all intents and purposes, from anyone looking from outside, you've done a pretty spectacular job moving Martin the way you have. Do you give yourself a bit of a pat on the back?
It's not for me to pat my back. Martin thanks me, and that's all I need. If other people think of the same ilk as yourself, I'm delighted, because a lot of hard work, effort, and money has went into it. But I believe in him, and he believes in me. And I mean, something that even happened just last week is a scandal for it to happen, and there's a person knows what I'm talking about, because somebody approached Martin. Martin told me within a minute, and I phoned that person within minutes of him speaking to Martin, and I ridiculed him.
We're just about to talk about the next subject, but you're more than welcome to stay on and talk about it if you want. I'm sure you've got an opinion on it. So Misfits Boxing, which gets a lot of criticism from the hardcore boxing fraternity, they're out in Qatar this week in the Middle East, headlined by Slim against Anderson Gibb. I'm sure you know probably as much about them as I do. But we do cover it. We do kind of make money from it. So we can't criticize. Well, we can criticize it as heavily as we want, but I'm just saying. Middle East this week. But just generally, what do you think of the Misfits boxing scene and the likes of Jake Paul and Tommy Fury, what they're doing as well?
Listen, it brings eyes to boxing, but it's a very, very low level boxing ability. You know what I mean? Really, really poor. Jake Paul, when he win a British title, he'd be lucky if he won an area title. Let's be perfectly honest. You know, I mean, every gym in the country will have somebody that could beat him probably. But he's a marketing genius. It's made him sell a lot of money, and fair play to him. Qatar, I trained the king of Qatar and his 2 princes over in Italy, Sardinia, 5 or 6 years ago. Lovely, lovely people. The man who was the king at the time, he's now kind of abdicated and his sons took over. Nasser Al Thani, his name is. Lovely, lovely family, lovely people. The Doha's the capital, isn't it?
Yeah.
He invited me and my wife over for to stay there for a few weeks, but I had work commitments, so I couldn't go over.
It's a shame you could combined it with this Misfits boxing fight week. You would have loved it.
Well, a guy that I used to train, Gary Young, he's over there. I think he trains Qatari people over there. He's doing well for himself. So, listen, that is what it is.
Gary, he was a very talented fighter.
Gary was 16-0 at one time, I'm sure, or 14-0.
Yeah, very good fighter. But just generally, this kind of Misfits boxing stuff, you said it brings a lot of eyes to the sport. Is that a good thing though, or does it make people think that they can do it? You know, the average man on the street.
It's a good thing to an extent, but the negative to it is I believe somebody will get badly injured, just like that white collar stuff. I think somebody will get hurt, and then who takes the rap for that?
Very good point. Now,
Because
Billy,
of because of the lack of skill and defensive ability. They're just, some of them are taking full pelt big shots unnecessarily. No, unnecessarily, because everybody, but they don't know how to ride punches or slip punches. They take it full on, and that's not good for anybody's health.
Now, Billy, before I let you go, we put out a poll at the start of the show, maybe a little bit tongue in cheek, but asking who is currently the most powerful man in boxing. And we included Canelo, Jake Paul, and Turki Al-Sheikh as the 3 options, alongside other, if someone wanted to pick a different name. What's your view on that? Should Jake Paul even be considered among that sort of company?
But most people dictate power with money. And His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh's probably got more money tenfold than what they two have got together. So you've got to say Turki Al-Sheikh's the most powerful man in boxing just now.
Brilliant.
And rightly so, because he's putting on the best fights, the best shows.
Well, you've heard what Billy Nelson thinks. Please give us your vote in the poll and let us know. We'll read out the result at the end of the show. Billy, really appreciate you joining us. I hope the Sanchez fight is made and confirmed as soon as possible. And hopefully in the UK, we'll all get to watch it.
Thank you, Danny. All the best, mate.
And you, mate. Take care.
Take care.
Appreciate
Cheers.
it.